Well, hello there. Are you ready to get the next piece of the puzzle to get started in the class? Right now, we're going to talk about probably one of the most important documents in a class. It's called the syllabus. Now, do you know what a syllabus is? Like some people don't know. A syllabus is a contract between you and I. So when you agree to take the class and you read through the syllabus and you say, I'm going to continue, that means you've agreed to that part and there's things in there that I've agreed to. So it's probably a good idea that we talk about it for just a minute. I'm not going to read you the whole thing because you should read it, but I do want to highlight a few very important pieces of that so we make sure that we're on the same page. So let me do a screen share right now and jump over here. And there are things that are in all of my syllabi that are common, and those are some of the things I'm going to point out. There are some things that are different, that are specific for individual classes, and I'll show you where those are. So for instance, up in this very top part of the syllabus, that's all the ways to contact me, but it also has a specific link for your class, the class website. Keep in mind that unless you've gotten an email from me with what's called an enrollment key, that link is not live yet, or you might be able to go there, but you can't actually get in. So you have to wait until you get the email from me with an enrollment key, which will be pretty soon. It'll probably be one of the next emails that you get from me. But there's lots of information up here to pay attention to, all kinds of ways to get a hold of me. So like this says right here, there's a lot of information here. So make sure you read it all because it's a very important document. So we'll come back to this Cliff Notes version last. We'll make sure we look at that last. Up at the top part here is the official description and the student learning outcomes. And so all this means is by the end of the class, you should be able to do or know these things, okay? And that's my job, is to help you figure that part out. There'll be a section on the general format of the class. Now, some classes are 16 weeks and some are 12 weeks and some are 8 weeks. So pay attention to this section because it'll give you information. In general, class will begin, or our week will begin Monday at 6 p.m. and will end Sunday at midnight. Now, if this is a winter session class, that all bets are off because that's a totally different schedule because we cram everything into 6 weeks. But in general, most classes will run Monday at 6 p.m. That's when the new stuff will open up, all right? And an announcement will get posted so you'll see that. And then it'll give you more information there about the format. So let's jump down here. Communication spaces, I want to clarify here because we do use lots of technology in our CIS classes, and I want to show you how those all link together. So Moodle is our class website. That's the hub. That's where everything's posted. The assignments are posted. That's where you'll submit assignments. All sorts of details will be there. Every week, a new section will open up. And in my class, there'll be an overview video and there'll be a checklist. So you can print off the checklist. I highly recommend that. And that way you can actually literally just check off what you're supposed to do for the week. And the overview video will be something like this, where I give you just some insight into what we're doing that week. And so a lot of people find that very useful. We'll also be using two different tools for communication, an asynchronous tool and a synchronous tool. So a lot of you have used Zoom in the last couple of months. I'm sure of it. Like you almost can't get away from it, right? And so Zoom is our synchronous place, and we're not going to lecture. I'm not going to lecture to you in that. That's a terrible use of that space. We're going to use that space to have class discussions and to collaborate and to communicate. And so it's actually an awful lot of fun to use Zoom. Discord is the asynchronous space, and that's where our help desk will be. That's where if you have questions for me, you can direct message me. It's almost like a chat. All three of these applications have apps that you can get on your phone, which make them super easy to check. And it's good for me because if you send me a message on Discord, I get it almost like a text message. It's great. So this next area are particulars. They have drop dates and different deadlines and things, and they'll talk about your text and materials. For example, in the CIS 50 class, we don't have a textbook, but there's information there about what we will use. In the CIS 101 class, we do have a textbook, and so there'll be information there about the textbook. There's several sections that have to do with policies, like accommodations and harassment, things that we take very seriously at the college. attendance and makeup policies and withdrawal policies. This is all the official language from the college, so you can know what that's all about. And then I'm going to actually come down to this academic honesty section. I'm going to talk to you about this for just a minute because you're in college. This is a college class, and the whole idea of college is to expose you to new ideas, to think big thoughts, to synthesize things, to analyze things, to communicate, collaborate, all this good stuff. So if you just copy something from somewhere, not as good. It's actually an offense that can get you expelled from the college. And if you're out in the workplace, it's something that gets you fired. If you look up plagiarism in journalists and different things, people have gotten fired over this. So in class, I'll have a video or two that gives you an idea of what plagiarism is all about, just so you know, because sometimes you're not thinking and you don't know that that's what that is. But I'm going to ask you on your honor to not to do your own work, basically. We're going to do a lot of collaboration and stuff, so don't get that confused. But don't copy stuff from somewhere else with that attribution. Do your own thinking on all of that. So this next page, how to contact me. Oh my goodness, there's so many ways. There's lots of ways. Go down the list here. There's a section, but I always prefer that you post to the help desk first because there's 30 of you and 1 of me. And so somebody might get the answer before I get to it. And that's good, right? That'll help you out. You can direct message me on Discord. You can send me a text message, but if you do, you gotta let me know who you are. Like, don't send me a message and say like, help, I don't get it, when I don't have your name in my contacts, right? So tell me who you are, tell me what class you're in, and then I can help you. If you email me, there's a very specific subject line per class, and you'll see that in this part of the syllabus. And basically it's the class ID, your name, not the words your name, but your actual name, and the topic. So that way I can filter it into a folder for your class and see it. It won't go into my spam folder if you do that. So pay particular attention to this section. And there's even a picture example, okay? So it's not that hard. The thing I'll note on this page is offline time. So I'm typically offline from Friday afternoon until, or like Friday evening until about Saturday evening or Sunday morning. Mostly because we have a really busy, big life. We have lots of kids, we run a business, I teach some classes, we have lots going on. So we carve out this time during the week where we mostly go offline, mostly. It's a little hard to totally disconnect, but we'll go for hikes or go outside or do stuff. So my responses will be a little slower on the weekends than they are during the week, but typically I'm pretty quick about things. There's a section on expectations, my expectations of you, your expectations of me, and the time commitment. Please read that. Some keys to success that I think you'll find very useful, and the one I'll point out is that making mistakes is okay. In our family, we talk about making new mistakes. Like if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're not really like learning anything. However, if you make new mistakes, then that means you're moving forward, and that's a good thing. The other thing I'll point out on this page, because everybody wants to know, like, how do I get the grade? That's a big deal, right? Is please pay attention to this section here. It's always true. If you focus on the grades, you're going to miss out on the learning. And if you focus on the learning, the grades will come. Just take my 24 years of teaching, take my word for it. This is always true. If you focus on the grades, you miss out on the learning, but if you focus on the learning, the grades will come. Just think about that for a minute. So this whole section, I'll let you read. It's about homework and tests and projects and things. And, but this advice is always true. Like you have to do the work. You can't get by this class without doing the work. The work's not particularly hard, but it makes you think, okay? So I tend to have different kinds of projects than you'll see in a lot of places. And I will point out the extra credit piece. So in general, I don't give a lot of extra credit, but if I do, it's only available to people that have done all the work. Like you've done the work and you kind of maybe bombed an assignment or something and you need to make up some points. I don't give extra credit to replace an assignment. Like if you just didn't feel like doing it, you don't get the extra credit, okay? But if you did everything and you need to make some points, that's what that's all about. And then some stuff about grading. So the grading part's the boring part to me. Let me flip back up here to the very top. and I'll talk about this little section here, and then I'll show you something. So every semester, and let me zoom in on this so it's a little easier to see. Every semester, I get students that ask me like, I didn't make it to class, did I miss anything? First off, don't ask me that question. Show up on the class website, see what we've got going on, okay? But I found this poem, and this poem is a perfect description. A student said, did I miss anything? Nothing. When you were present, how could anything significant occur, right? Like we were just playing hangman the whole time you were gone. But everything contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only place such an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place, and you weren't here. So in our face-to-face class, I would have people look around the room, and you realize, like, never again in human history will this group of people be gathered together for this long of a period of time. Like, the odds of that happening are almost zero, right? Same thing in the online class. I mean, it's a little bit different, right? But we share a website, and we've got some communication spaces, and we'll do some live chats, and we probably won't have a full class, like all 30 of you in one place. But there will be opportunities to connect with different people, and we'll get a whole range of people. We have high school students to 80-year-olds. We've got, people on the track to go to college, and people that are just trying to get retrained for something new. We've got former military people, and we've got stay-at-home moms. I mean, there's just like a whole range of experience in this class, and it's all wonderful. It all adds an amazing dimension. And so don't worry if you're not the techiest person. Don't worry if, you don't have a lot of experience. You've got stuff to bring to the table, and I'm excited about that. I think that's one of my favorite parts of teaching these classes, is to see how that all mixes together. And so that leads me to, so you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to show you something that's part of, sort of part of the syllabus. Part of the syllabus is there'll be a link to take a quiz about the syllabus, okay? Don't panic, it's not that hard. You just got to read it. But there's a link in there to advice from former students. And I want you to read through this whole document. It's like 6 or 7 pages long, okay? But this is directly from their mouth, from their pen, from their typewriter to you. I asked last semester what they would tell you. These are all students that made it to the end in one of my classes. And I said, what would you tell next semester students? What should they know about how to do well in one of my classes? This document is directly from them. And as you read this, you're going to see some themes, okay? And part of the syllabus quiz is going to ask you to pull out a couple of these that you find useful and meaningful. You will see some themes in here. And one of the things you'll see are there's quite a few people that said, wow, I sort of thought I knew everything about this subject, but I was wrong. One guy, I don't know if I highlighted it. I hope I did, because it was super funny. I'll have to see where it is. Anyhow, I'll scroll through here, and if I find it, oh, here it is. Pay attention. You might think you know all there is, but you don't. Trust me, I used to be you. So he's at the other end of it, realizing how much he doesn't know, which is a good place to be, by the way. Don't think that is like a bad place to be. And so read through this, see what the comments are, see what they thought about Zoom, see what they thought about communicating. This is their experience. Like, they just finished the class and succeeded. And this is what they're telling you about how to do well. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you guys have fun reading through the syllabus. I know that's a weird thing, but it's a fun syllabus. I think that's what people tell me. And look for a couple more emails. Oh, and by the way, there's a code word on the quiz. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, wet nose. I have a sign here that says my therapist has a wet nose, referring to dogs, right? The code word is wet nose. 2 words, all lowercase. All right, you'll see where that comes in handy later. Okay, you guys have a good day, and look for an email soon.